For Boat Test, I'm Captain Shelley.
And I'm Captain Greg. And today we're going to do a performance review of Riviera's 4600 Sport Yacht Platinum Edition.
If you are looking for a high-end yacht that offers both performance and comfort, the Riviera 4600 Platinum Edition is one to consider. With the Platinum Edition, you're investing in a yacht known for its meticulous design, craftsmanship, and top-of-the-line amenities. Beyond its sleek lines and premium finishes, the 4600 Platinum Edition offers a range of features designed to enhance your boating experience. Starting with the Volvo Penta D8 IPS 600 horsepower system. These pod drives offer precision and efficiency with forward-facing, twin, counter-rotating propellers.
The startup procedure on these Volvo Pentas is really easy. So you hit the ignition button, wait for the beep, the engine information panel will come on, and then push the start-stop button for just a second. All right, we're ready when you are. What do we have on for lines right now? The joystick control on this Volvo Penta really makes docking and undocking easy. It's what I would call a linear input. So if you push the joystick forward just a little bit, it gives you just a little bit of power. And if you push it forward further, it gives you more power. The visibility is really good forward. We do have these two structural support beams, so you have to kind of move your head just a little bit to see on either side of those. There is a bit of a blind spot starboard aft above the galley. Shelley, why don't you tell us what we have displayed on the twin Garmin 12-inch multifunction displays?
We have our charts, we have radar, and I have our depth profile going as well. Also at the helm, I have our Garmin control head, toggle buttons for our windshield wipers, the Volvo Penta joystick, our Volvo controls, and our Volvo display screen. They've added the tactile buttons for all of the things that are important, like the sunroof, the bilges, and some lights, but then all the other instruments and everything else you might need are on the touch screens. The steering column is a tilt base, and the VHF is really easy to access. The digital throttle controls are to starboard, and this one is outfitted with the optional bow thruster. We also have C-zone display for turning off air conditioning, basically running all the systems on the boat. They've put a little bit of a textured fabric on the dash so that if I do set something up there, it's probably not going to slide. There are two AC vents blowing right on the captain and the companion seats, and that compass is centerline to the helm.
I like the carbon fiber looking detail around the two MFDs. It really adds a slightly more futuristic look to the boat.
There is an elevated angled footrest down below with some non-skid on it. There's a couple of different standing positions and sitting positions. Sitting all the way back, it's a little far away from the helm, but you know, if you're on a nice cruise, then we can always move it up.
The 4600 Sport Yacht Platinum Edition is 53 feet 3 inches overall. The maximum beam at the top of the gunnel is 15 feet 5 inches. The draft is 4 feet 3 inches, depending on the load.
When we conducted our performance trials, our 555-gallon fuel tank was nearly full, and our estimated test weight was 48,537 pounds.
The cruise speed of the 4600 Sport Yacht is 26.5 knots, where she burns 54 gallons per hour. Her top speed is 30.5 knots, where she burns 63.5 gallons per hour. During the hull shots averaged over 2 runs, the 4600 Sport Yacht went from 0 to 10 knots in 6.9 seconds, 0 to 20 knots in 14.2 seconds, 0 to her 26.5 knot cruise speed in 21 seconds, and 0 to her top speed of 30.5 knots in 36 seconds. The range of the 4600 Sport Yacht was 245 nautical miles at her 26.5 knot cruise speed, 240 nautical miles at her top speed of 30.5 knots, and 360 nautical miles at a displacement speed of 10 knots. Pull her back to 9 knots and she has a range of 549 nautical miles.
I'm very impressed with how this boat handles. Not only is it quiet, but it feels very solid. You can tell Riviera puts a lot of time into overbuilding these boats to be in a condition to run offshore. I'm going to take the speed up just a little bit now, up to about cruise. With the Volvo IPS, the handling is as one would expect. I'm going to go helm hard over now. Get a fairly good bank angle. Get the chine of that hull digging in. And we're probably doing a 360 turn in, I would say, about 3 of our boat lengths. Now we've got a nice little 2 to 3 foot wake that we're going to go back through. I'm going to turn the helm back straight. The hull really absorbs those waves. Absolutely no reduction in speed. Access to the engine room is through this 35 by 39 inch hatch in the cockpit. We entered through a 4-step ladder with nice wide treads. And the engine room is surprisingly large for a 46-foot yacht. There's 5 feet 10 inches of clearance throughout the engine room, although there are some lower spots where there are stringers and other structural elements. It houses the twin Volvo Penta D8 IPS 800 engines with about 2.5 feet in between. The starboard engine has 2 feet 1 inch of clearance above and about 8 inches over the port engine. Now let's take a look at the contents of the engine room. Starting forward centerline is the 555 US gallon diesel tank. Now, one thing that I love about this is this very sturdy stainless steel sight gauge that's always connected to the fuel tank. Riviera pays such fine attention to so many different details, and this is a great example. There's twin Raycor filters for each engine above the fuel tank. Going around to the right, we've got the AC distribution panels. Below those, we have the Dometic vacuum flush units for each of the 2 heads. The fresh water spigot gives you a hose to be able to clean anything down that you want to clean. Continuing around to starboard, you've got the 3 Dometic chillers, 1 for each zone. Centerline aft is the Seakeeper 6, along with the Glendenning cable holder. Forward to port is the Kohler 14 kilowatt generator. Above that, you have the battery charger and the DC distribution panel. A couple of other attention to details that Riviera's done is first the stainless steel raw water intake for the air conditioner, where you can clearly see what your flow is through a large sight glass. I like what Riviera does with their engine mount bolts. You can see they actually have 2 torque marks. So by a quick look of the eye, you can see if any one of your engine mounts has started to loosen. Given some weather inshore, we decided to shoot this video drifting out in the ocean, maybe 2 miles offshore. Now there's about 1 foot waves coming from a beam, but the Seakeeper 6 has us nice and stabilized. We're having no issues at all today.
All the way forward, we have a stainless steel ultra anchor with a galvanized chain and 2 beefy cleats on both sides. There is a 52 inches deep storage compartment on the starboard side, and to port of the electric windlass is a freshwater washdown hose. I always love seeing dedicated storage for winch handles. There is a freshwater and seawater spigot in there. Personally, I like the handheld controller rather than the deck-mounted foot-activated ones. There's also a remote anchor control at the helm.
We've had some storms around where the wind picked up a little bit, but we're in between cells right now and the wind looks on the trees. Everything else I see completely calm. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put us in neutral. Let the boat coast just a little bit. And then using the joystick, hit the button for docking assist, and that'll put us into hover mode. All right, so I've come to the port wing station. I've got such good visibility down the port side. I'm going to take it out of hover mode. I'm going to put it into docking mode. So now I've got complete control with the joystick. One thing you want to remember with these Volvo Penta joystick controls is small inputs are really what's required. You get the boat moving around too fast, it gets a little more difficult to control.
it's been a great day out on the water. And this has been our full performance review of the Riviera 4600 Platinum Edition. For Boat Test, I'm Captain Shelley.
And I'm Captain Greg, reminding you, life is better on a boat.